For a warm, warm welcome to friends and family and all those dear to this graduating class. We're here to acknowledge, to fully celebrate a union of talent and discipline, of hope and sacrifice, all cultivated, carried, and covered by the grace of the divine. Please bundle all of your understandings of faith and every sentiment for appreciation for the gifts of these young people in my words of prayer. God in heaven, we thank you. We thank you for these young people. We thank you for the opportunity to care for them and to see them going forward in all of the shining possibilities of the gifts that you bestow upon them through this community and their families. And may they know always their own promise, and that is the promise of love. Amen.
Please be seated. Welcome to the Baccalaureate service for the class of 2025. The Baccalaureate service derives from the medieval European custom of presenting the candidates for a degree of bachelor, Bacca, with laurels, lauri, of sermonic oration. The Baccalaureate ceremony is no longer a service of worship, but remains one of celebration of and thanksgiving for lives dedicated to learning and to wisdom. The Baccalaureate service is believed to have originated at the University of Oxford in 1432, when each bachelor's degree candidate was required to deliver a sermon in Latin as part of the academic requirements. Since the earliest universities in America were founded primarily on a British model, the practice of the baccalaureate service was continued. The requirement for the sermon in Latin, sadly, did not come down to us from Oxford, but some visible regalia from those times remains. The faculty wear academic robes with hoods denoting degrees and the institutions from which they were received. The different colors of the borders of the hood reflect the major field in which one has earned a degree, as in white for art, literature, and humanities, copper for economics, pink for music, yellow for science, and there's a long list. The silk lining of the robes shows the institution's colors. Bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees are indicated by the different lengths of the hoods and different design of the robes. Above all, the solemnity of your accomplishments, class of 2025, remains. You are soon to be graduates of this school, and that accomplishment commands attention to this smaller audience tonight, in addition to commencement tomorrow. This evening, we will all enjoy a performance by the Troublemakers. We will celebrate some of the accomplishments of this class. We will hear from your senior speaker, Matthew Luo, and from our faculty speaker, Ms. Kathy Watkins, at this, the penultimate gathering of the class of 2025. It's now my privilege and pleasure to introduce Matilda Kardashian and Ethan Yang, the co-presidents of the student body, who will introduce the senior speaker.
Good evening, class of 2025, parents and faculty. It is with great honor that we stand before you tonight on what will be our last night on Petty's campus. We are thrilled to be introducing a bright mind of our graduating class in this moment of reflection and celebration.
Matt has been a constant spark of energy and positivity throughout the past 4 years. An avid runner, writer, and friend, Matt finds himself fulfilling many roles as a leader. Beyond all his accolades, Matt's continued enthusiasm and excitement brings out the best in everyone around him.
In my time with Matt, I have seen him transform from reserved kids learning the in and out of Petty to the kid who rallies the cross-country team in a cheer to reach the highest decibel. This joy and pride that Matt incites makes all those around him feel like they are capable of more, because he truly believes we all are.
His courage to stand here today is a testament for all he has given and will continue to give to Petty. There is no better representation of what it means to be a part of the Petty community and class of 2025 than the spirit behind it. Please join us in welcoming Matthew Law.
Good evening, scholars. Thank you all so much for coming here. I know most of you had to, but thank you anyway. And thank you for letting me share some of my reflections on our incredible time together. Just among the faculty retiring this year, we have over a century of Petty experience. As a class, we've collectively enjoyed over 500 years of the Petty School of Excellence. And as much as I'd love to take each of those years for myself and experience Petty for another 5 centuries, within a year, Petty will move on. They ask us to move out by 5 o'clock tomorrow. The freshmen next year will never get to play around with cannonballs in Paul Watkins' class. Peter Quinn will be an odd curiosity they wheel out for Founders Day in 10 years or so. And us? Maybe one of us will be lucky enough to get a building or an endowed fund or a blade of grass named after him. That's a bit of a depressing thought as we go into commencement, maybe. I think about what we study in art history. Well, like I do for most of my waking hours. We cover 250 pieces of art from 25,000 BCE to 2011, including everything from Under the Great Wave off Kanagawa to the electronic superhighway. That's a lot of art, but we cover all of human history. Michelangelo gets 1 piece, Rembrandt gets 1, and we cover all of Korean art with 2. We end up with a few blind spots. You know, the Merovingians were probably a pretty swell civilization, but the looped fibulae they left behind is probably a bottom 5 piece. So I once asked Kathy Watkins, in 20 years when the College Board extends its curriculum to 2025 and inevitably has to include one of her pieces, which one would they pick? She didn't think it was a fair question, but I'd like to apply a version of it to ourselves anyway and ask you all this. What lasting impact will we have created here? I would be doing us a disservice, though, if I didn't acknowledge the progress we've made as a class and as dynamic, brilliant individuals. We came to Petty back when they still made us submit a negative COVID test after every break, and when they were still fiddling around with the schedule every month. We came to Petty back when POCO was a week long and when third soccer and JV football scored Blair Day points. We came to Petty back when Sean Lee, 25, still had his amazing luscious locks. More important than how we started that year, though, is how we ended it. We were deep in studying for our humanities spring exam. Rest in peace, both of those things. And yet, when Mark Onion emailed our entire class asking if we'd seen Dylan Patel, Philip, Eric, Chris, Ava, Ian, and Rishi still found it in themselves to reply all, "Who is Dylan Patel? Never heard of the kid." And there's a Dylan Patel? Is he right there now? Just making sure. And then, as now, we were a day away from leaving Petty's beautiful campus for the summer. I remember, blasphemously, thinking at the time, I can't wait to get out of here. But even then, our classes, defiance, pluck, and humor brought me some joy. That, at its core, is why leaving is so painful and why I've never, ever looked forward to having to leave Petty since then. To leave Petty means leaving all of you. I remember thinking, as I was applying to boarding school and to college, why every single person's favorite part of their school is the people or the community. The way we talk about Petty so often makes it seem like we're part of a cult or secret society. Anytime I meet someone who's unfamiliar with Petty, I have to go through the whole, you live at your school? You have class on Saturdays just to start. And then navigating any conversation about school afterwards is like a minefield. What's family style? What's chapel? Everyone's required to do a sport? And even after a whole hour of just going through each of Petty's intricacies, they still won't understand why anyone would pay $75,000 to come here, or would still think that boarding school is for the bad kids, which I'm still not sure they're entirely wrong about. Even my own parents, they're over there, are always convinced that we run on a semester schedule. For anyone who doesn't go here or work here, it really is impossible to grasp the full magnitude of the Petty experience. But for all of us, we'll always have that to share. We'll always know what it means when someone says, I had to go to PCH extra help during DMX today since we have a CYU during long block. More importantly, even if they close Six Flags, I know we'll always think back to it and the Hamlet quote contest that was responsible for this bus whenever any "Stay illusion" comes up. We'll always remember every History House back entrance we used during senior knockout. And I know, at least for me, I'll never forgive Chloe Salapatas 25 for getting me out twice. No one can ever take that from us. And in the future, when we all become captains of industry and leaders of the world with our own families, we can then turn to our Petty family, the more important one, and still remember what it gave us. I'd like to go back to the art history question. What lasting impact will we have created here? I hope I've now convinced you that we don't need to have led a capital campaign like old Peter here to have left an indelible mark on the Petty School of Excellence. Instead, I'd like to turn that question on its head and consider the mark Petty left on us through a new version of a piece from my creative writing capstone. It's about our time here at Petty, and it's called The Things I Found. The Things I Found. 100 theater programs, from the playbill for Wicked at the Gershwin to the cast list for Into the Woods at the William Mount Burke 54. A History House gas leak and a Jordi Serrato-induced Science Center fire alarm. Hundreds of race bids, from the majestic orange silhouette of a leaf for cross-country maples to the sets of 2 stickers from MF Athletic for every random Petty scrimmage. A pocket United States Constitution. A physical copy of the 2022-23 Student Handbook, the one true supreme law of the land. 15,538 emails, from the weekly gift-filled Jeremy Stahl menus to the barrage of lost AirPods that never seemed to get found. The old gold and blue 2022-25. Regret that will haunt me for the rest of my life for not doing freshman musical. Anger at my freshman, sophomore, and junior self for not signing up for Zachary Krieger voice lessons sooner. Frustration with Paul Kramer for scheduling art history and Paul Watkins during the same block. mourning for our sophomore bike trip, for my backpack and the printable directories of freshman year, and for James A. Hamilton's iconoclastic future gutting of family-style dinners. Gratitude for not having done crew freshman year, a decision which caused me to find the greatest group of people I've ever met on campus. Hundreds of long runs, 1K repeats, pool days, end of practice cheers, and bus rides, but thank God only 4 to Mercersburg. The chance to raise 6 state and Maple trophies up over the course of 2 years, and the crushing disappointment of having to hand all of them back this year. 2 glorious Potter Kelly Cup victories. A paper plate given to me at the end of season banquet last year, most likely to be louder than a jet plane. And understanding that Walker's filibuster was the single most important watershed moment in the history of the United States. The chance to finally perform Cats in concert band. An arsenal of Spanish expresiones de la semana, mapas mentales, y chistes, rodilla, y slappers, zoinks. An unnecessarily sophisticated understanding of lightning, courtesy of Patrick Deal, only tangentially related to the discussion of Faraday cages we were supposed to have. The pleasure of reading The Aquatic Uncle. A couple other less important books, and The Aquatic Uncle again this year. An undying appreciation for the anthropomorphic stele. Anticipation for tomorrow. The despair of knowing that it will likely be the last time I ever see you all here in one place. Pride, just a hint of relief, and above all, gratitude for all the things and people that brought us here. Thank you, and alla viva.
In the fall of 2022, when we reopened the expanded and enhanced Arts Center, at the dedication, I said this: more than 30 years ago, Petty decided to build a home for an arts program on a scale that did not yet exist. Tonight, we celebrate a new home for an arts program that has no limit. What happened in those years is the story of inspirational teachers, arts visionaries, effective leaders, and a school culture that always wants to begin anew. In any community, the arts are where the soul of the citizenry speaks. The arts speak to joy and heartbreak, hope and fear, courage and cowardice. And in them, we find what humanity has been and what we might become. What an important lesson for those who would strive for the highest quality of citizenship. And here, under the guidance and with the encouragement of our faculty, Petty students have the purpose-designed spaces to consider their contribution to defining their society and their hopes for it and their celebration for it through their art. I also wrote those words, but when I was writing them, I had one person in mind, and that's our speaker tonight. I had seen the growth in our art program under her guidance, with her leadership, and also just because of her teaching. And that doesn't mention or go to account for the countless culture bus trips, trips to New York City, and award-winning volleyball seasons. It is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Kathy Watkins.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn, for your kind words. Good evening, Petty families, colleagues, and the graduating class of 2025. When Mr. Quinn asked me to give the baccalaureate address, he risked a bittersweet and teary reflection. And if he'd seen me at the spring play 2 weeks ago, in full weep, he might have reconsidered altogether. Why was I so emotional? Well, the play was a beautiful conjuring of Thornton Wilder's Our Town. In the third and final act, young Emily Webb has died in childbirth, but her ghost wants to revisit the land of the living for a single day. Emily insists that she will choose a happy day, but her mother-in-law counsels her instead to choose an unimportant day. Choose the least important day in your life. It will be important enough. This was the line that really undid me. Emily comments on the land of the living. It all goes so fast, she says. We don't have the time to look at one another. I didn't realize. At first glance, the fictional world of the play, the small rural town of Grover's Corner, New Hampshire, circa 1901, bears little resemblance to the suburban Hightstown, New Jersey in 2025. Yet its themes of celebrating community and the value of everyday experiences still resonate. They got me thinking about the thousands of unimportant days I've lived here at Petty, and regretting that in my desire to get some sleep or to get closer to summer vacation, I'd often wish them to hurry by. The play got me thinking about the many times I've walked past another teacher or student, but was too self-absorbed to greet them with genuine interest. One of your classmates, mired in the anxiety of college admissions, echoed my thoughts. I spend the majority of my time waiting and worrying, she said. I spend my time not really enjoying the fruits of my labor. Sobering, right? And also very, very relatable. So, what can we learn from this all too common refrain? As the brilliant writer Annie Dillard notes, how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. Can we learn to be less focused on future special events and more awake for and attuned to everyday moments? One among you shared a description of an unimportant afternoon in which he and a friend journeyed south on foot, following Main Street, just to see how far they could walk. Carrying water bottles and turkey sandwiches from PFS, these pilgrims graduated from small talk to a cappella, singing lyrics from favorite songs, watching the sky shift blue to red, before turning to make it back to campus in time for check-in. I don't know where we ended up, he said, but I do know I will remember this moment and the quiet roads of Heightstown long after the trek. Soon I will have to once again walk far away from Petty. Only this time, I do not know if I will be able to walk back. In her book, Big Magic, author Elizabeth Gilbert suggests, what we often overlook is that a vibrant life isn't built on occasional peak experiences, but on accumulated moments of joy, meaningful relationships developed through regular shared experiences, casual dinners, weekend adventures, or simple conversations. Career satisfaction stems not just from promotions, but from finding daily engagement in our work. Now, if you're as fortunate as I, you'll stumble into a career that feeds your soul. I cannot say, truthfully, that I enjoy all dimensions of my job. I don't love driving the bus to the mall or patrolling the halls of Swig at night or writing grade comments. But how about walking into art history to a cheerful greeting and Sarah demurely sketching our newest artwork on the whiteboard? I have looked forward to every A block all year long. And then there was this kid, Eric, in my drawing class back in the early 90s, who made a beautiful pencil sketch of a Coca-Cola can. Then, a gazillion years later, lo and behold, his son, Luke, starred in my AP Art History classroom. And a few years later still, I found myself running around the Metropolitan Museum side by side with Mr. Eric Treese and our pack of young art history scholars. Talk about coming full circle. How lucky am I to spend my hours helping Maggie figure out how to desilver a mirror or climbing a ladder again and again and again to hang yards of tulle, clouds of surgical gloves, braided shopping bags, and oversized magnolia pods for installations by Noelle, Ella, and the two Avas. Alongside my partners in crime, Middleton, Chen, and Dale, I've had the pleasure of helping hundreds, actually thousands, of young artists to share the vulnerability of their creations. I will never forget standing outdoors on a particularly biting autumn night to watch Tianyun explore her split identity by performing martial arts sequences while dressed in her petty crew uniform. That same evening, Nathan solemnly ripped apart his gorgeous painting of Petty's Chapel, a practice in letting go of perfection. For 90 minutes, Imani sat in a blanket fort that she constructed and invited audience members to join her game of pretend with plastic dinosaurs. And Cece jumped rope in front of a dangling carrot, pausing only to award herself a gold star. These students and their classmates, with their wide-ranging ideas, displayed humor, insight, and the bravery required to manifest it all for an audience of their peers. They deeply inspire me, as have all the students who came before them for the past 36 years. Sitting at my own high school graduation, I would never have imagined that practicing and teaching art would become my vocation. In college, I changed my major 5 times before focusing on the coursework I most loved, which, as it turned out, unfolded in the art studio. I'd always been a people pleaser who worried about what my parents would say, what their friends and my friends would think of this surprising and arguably impractical choice. I second-guessed myself silly, but eventually took heart in the advice of writer Joseph Campbell, who said, "If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's path." I share this because I suspect there's some among you who can relate. Parental and societal pressure can be mighty, as are guilt and the fear of disappointing others. My 19-year-old self finally summoned the courage to listen both to my gut and to Campbell, who suggested, "Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls." Now, my father wasn't happy when I moved in with my wannabe writer boyfriend and then spent every free moment making paintings. But in time, he grew to be my biggest supporter. I financed graduate work with waitressing, and that boyfriend earned himself a publishing contract. When I awoke in Baltimore on the morning of my interview to teach at the Petty School, I turned to Paul and I announced, "I'm not going to that interview. I don't think I want to work with teenagers. I don't think I want to live in New Jersey." Well, you know the end of this story. Thankfully, Paul persuaded me to make the drive to Hightstown in spite of my hesitation. Hooray for the unexpected. Hooray for the charismatic and persuasive Ann Seltzer, who in her role as head of school lured me into this community and has rewarded me with cups of tea and loving friendship ever since. Hooray for the generous colleagues and the generations of earnest students who've kept me engaged here all these years. It wasn't the path I thought I was on. It wasn't the life I planned, but it certainly has been a rewarding one. I wish that all of you will find your way to such a nourishing career, but I also know that what is most personally fulfilling is often unrelated to a paycheck. Take Miss Hogarth, for example, who lives her devotion for civic responsibility far beyond the A-push classroom by spearheading postcard writing campaigns and going door to door in her free time to get the vote out. Ms. Blanc and Dr. Peretz embody their fierce commitment to the environment by leading initiatives that make our community more sustainable one day at a time. Maybe your passion will be volunteering long hours as a firefighter like Mr. Frank, or as a certified rescue diver like Ms. Miller. Maybe you cultivate an expansive vegetable garden like our CFO, Mr. Puri, or master a specialized craft like Mr. McClellan, who hand builds beautiful fishing rods in his garage. Maybe by day you write books like Mr. Watkins, and then by night teach yourself to cook, conjuring gourmet dinners for your appreciative wife. Aw. Tap your creativity like Miss Vella, who loves to knit, or Miss Spivey, who designs jewelry. Share your prodigious talents to lift up others, as do our generous and musical Mr. Krieger and Miss Green. Like these role models, figure out what it is you like to do that sparks your curiosity and absorbs your attention. I think this is what Joseph Campbell meant when he said to follow your bliss. If you're not sure what this is for you, ask yourself, what is it that you work at but doesn't feel like work? Follow that bliss. Make space for it in your life. Others may not measure it as important. They may refer to it as just a hobby, a phrase that makes me cringe. But as Dillard says, this is living. Could it be more perfect? So now we've reached the audience participation portion of the speech. Each of you, please take this moment to choose an unimportant day. Choose the least important day in your life at Petty. So do you have something in mind? What do you see? Is it, as my husband Paul reflects, just sitting at his desk in the Octagon house with the windows open, listening to the clink of metal baseball bats hitting balls? And I say to Therese, tell them to swing hard so I can hear them. Or is it, as he recalls, the simple ritual of cycling to class every day and gathering with colleagues in the history department for a jolly chat? Or maybe your unimportant memory is one of my favorites, watching the top of Mr. Michael's head bobbing up and down as he conducts the pit orchestra at the winter musical. Or walking by the overgrown stream in the far fields where our children once played with the O'Neills, the Woods, and the Moonies. Or sitting with your advisory in the grass on a sunny spring morning, sipping coffees from Little Key. Though it may be hard to appreciate now the sacredness of all you've been through these past 4 years, you will find that many things you took for granted become the most cherished of your memories. Molly described one 13-hour Tuesday like this. It was almost identical to every other weekday, but I didn't feel tired until I got home and crashed. The friends I've made at Petty are so easy to be around. I think this day was meaningful to me because it proves that living doesn't have to feel like a repeating cycle when you're doing it with people you love. Often, it's not those moments of high drama or celebration when all the banners are waving, but the quiet moments when you're just carrying on your daily life that you remember best. These in-between, liminal, betwixt moments are the ones that actually help you figure out who you are and who you want to become. As Brooke noted, I have a lot of those times when the thing I never considered much before knocks me over the head, and suddenly I wish I could do it all again, just one more time, because maybe I took it for granted before. So, class of 2025, let's rejoin the character of Emily from our town and take one more look. Goodbye. Goodbye, Grover's Corners. Goodbye, Heightstown. Goodbye to exploding chicken at family-style dinner and to freshman musical with Mr. C. Goodbye to walking downtown for hot bagels before school and to Latin class squeezed in the elevator with Doc and his beloved dog Molly. Goodbye to news and notes with Mr. Roach and to gathering with Miss Shaw at Swig Duty for pizza. Goodbye to the resident blue heron who glides over Petty Lake and to the magnolias that bloom each spring. Goodbye to Mr. Murtaugh's holiday ties and Mr. Bennett greeting with the door each day before class. Goodbye to Petty girls soccer chanting, "Last one, best one," to pregame culture check with Petty basketball, and to mysterious pre-show prayer rituals of the theater. Goodbye to art history charades, to onion sage life advice, and to the annual old-fashioned Christmas movie in Casperson dorm. Goodbye to Muffin Thursday, to the ninja-like Mr. Luke's appearing out of thin air to repair malfunctioning technology. Goodbye to the goats grazing in the solar field, to black and white cookies from Annenberg Library, to a spirited high five with Cook at robotics when the autonomous mode works. Goodbye to Chef Stahl's weekly menu memes and Miss Sherman's voice in the darkened theater during Tech Week calling, "Hold!" Goodbye to the car tires on Main Street on that rare snowy winter morning. Goodbye to Miss Rodriguez' babbles and to the sweaty climb to the 3rd floor of Annenberg. Goodbye running dorm to dorm before the pep rally when the night air fills with the cries of savages. Goodbye to Spike Ball on Center Campus. Goodbye to Ala Viva. And soon, goodbye to sleeping and waking up on campus, to hot showers and unironed graduation gowns. Oh, Earth, you are too wonderful for anybody to realize you. In these final hours, find those that you love and admire. Look them in the eyes and share your gratitude. It doesn't have to be eloquent, just heartfelt. Thank your parents for their sacrifice, your friends for their camaraderie, your teachers for their guidance. And then sit outside in the grass, in the dark, under the damp New Jersey sky. Sit, reminisce, and say your goodbyes and thank yous for the large and the small and the betwixt. Thank you, Petty.
Dr. Martin.
That's me.
Good evening, everybody. What a splendid evening. Earlier this week, the members of the class of 2025 that were inducted into the Cum Laude Society, but we're going to repeat that most of that ceremony tonight because we have family and friends here that didn't get to witness that. So let the newly elected members of Cum Laude please stand up. Don't be shy. Thank you. Please remain standing while I do my little reading. The Cum Laude Society has the objective of promoting learning and sound scholarship in secondary schools. It was founded in 1906 as the secondary school equivalent to Phi Beta Kappa, the college-level honor society. Petty's chapter was founded in 1921, and we were the 14th school to adopt election during the senior year on the basis of an honors record. Election is in the spring, and we did our induction earlier this week. The motto of the Cum Laude Society is Arete Dike Time, which is Greek for excellence, justice, and honor. And testimony of your admission to the Cum Laude Society by the authority of the society duly granted, you were inducted into the Petty chapter. I will now read the names of the new members. I ask the audience to please withhold your applause until the list is completed. Alexander Beck-Nadel, Keaton Chen, Emily DeVenti, Philip Hahn, Ananya Hari, Amanda Harmon, Eric Wong, Nathan Kim, Eliza Lamar, Sean Lee, Kayla Lindsay, Matthew Lowe, Lena Mirchandani, Sarah Nadelman, Eva Oyang, Owen Peepsack, Elizabeth Rao, Rishi Shah, Anjali Sudarshan, Anya Tolat, Sarah Tong, Cece Traub, Julia Ulrich, Andy Wang, and Junting Wang. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Petty Class of 2025. I am so proud of you all. On the behalf of the Science Department, I am here to award the Science Prize. The Science Prize is presented to the graduating senior who, in the judgment of the Science Department faculty, combines to the greatest degree the following attributes: outstanding achievement in science courses taken at Petty, insight into the ideas and concepts of science, excellent laboratory skills, and a genuine interest in and the enthusiasm for the sciences. This senior has artfully mastered every science course they have taken at Petty. Without fail, the student has entered their classes prepared, focused, and always with a smile on their face. At times, their success looks absolutely effortless, but we know Sarah Tong puts her all into everything she does. Sarah has the ability to foster a positive and productive learning environment that allows for terrific collaboration. She finds joy in any challenge she faces, never giving up until she achieves her goal, whether it be in understanding a complex theory in AP Physics C, or by putting their all in AP Biology Kahoot under the pseudonym Elvis Burger. Sarah faces every task with enthusiasm. During labs, Sarah captures every detail she observes and uses every moment as a learning opportunity. Through the EXP program, she spent her time at Dr. Tajan's lab investigating an effective treatment for juvenile myelomonocytic leukemia and came back to Petty full of knowledge she gained by her willingness to ask questions and by being curious. For her outstanding achievement in all her science courses and for her passion in all things science, this year's recipient of the Science Prize is Sarah Tong.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of the Math Department to present the Hornberger Prize. The Hornberger Prize in Mathematics is awarded to that student who, in the judgment of the Mathematics Department, has done the most outstanding work within the department over the course of their career at Petty. The winner is chosen for their true enjoyment of the subject, generosity of spirit, contributions to the classroom experience, leadership, and success as demonstrated both inside and outside the classroom. It is the highest prize awarded by the department. This year's recipient quickly earned the respect of his peers, both through his ability to understand the concepts being developed, but especially through the understated and supportive manner with which he enhanced the learning experience for the entire class. He embodied the principles of sharing and collaboration that helped to create a spirit of community in our mathematics classrooms at Petty. One of his teachers described him as conscientious and empathetic, pairing an impressive work ethic with an infectiously positive attitude, which brings out the best in those that interact with him. Another one of his teachers noted his consistent performance, dedication, and humility while taking one of the highest mathematics classes offered at Petty. Contributing to robotics for multiple years, in addition to helping lead both the Student Investment Committee and the Young Entrepreneurs Club, the student has demonstrated excellence in multiple quantitative disciplines, both within our department and within the school. We are pleased to award the Hornberger Prize in Mathematics to Justin Wang.
Good evening. The Dr. William Marabot Award is presented to that student whose work in the field of history has been of an unusually high quality and displays significant originality. The student should have demonstrated those qualities of clarity of thought and integrity of purpose that characterized the late Dr. Marabot's distinguished teaching career at Petty. The History Department is thrilled to present this award, our department's highest honor, to Matt Luo. Matt Luo loves trains, and his academic journey has been nothing short of a first-class express. In every classroom, Matt serves as a dynamic engine, pulling his peers into deeper discussions and fostering collaboration, always keeping them on track. Matt's unbridled enthusiasm for learning fuels his relentless pursuit of knowledge, often leading him to get on board additional classes during his free periods. Over spring break, Matt conducted a brief art history lecture for his peers while at the National Museum of Korea, and then proceeded to lead the group to various stops on the gallery route to highlight other pieces. As Matt continues to steam ahead on his educational journey, we proudly send him off with a resounding choo-choo and our heartfelt congratulations. Come on up, Matt.
Good evening. I'm here to present the Language Department Award. The Language Department Award is given each year to a student who has successfully achieved higher levels in one or more languages taught at Petty. This year's recipient is bright, attentive, and passionate about Spanish studies. Her teachers have noted that her curiosity and positive energy uplift those around her and make her a joy to have not just in class, but in the school community. She fulfilled our purpose of the signature program in languages by stepping out of her comfort zone and traveling to Spain, experience that helped her shape their vision of the world. On a personal note, I believe that the reason the national Spanish soccer team won the Euro Cup last year was because she was in Zaragoza cheering for them. For her terrific work in her signature program in languages, where she explored architecture and culture in Spain, and her academic accomplishments, the Language Department is pleased to award this prize to Maggie Blakely.
Good evening. The Fred Rager Class of 1944 Prize for Excellence in English is the department's highest prize awarded to that senior whose work has been especially marked by sophistication, clarity, and vigor. This year's recipient possesses a shrewd intellect, compassionate heart, and endearing curiosity towards the intricacies of literature and of life. As a scholar, she enjoys analyzing symbols and parsing through prose, and the satisfaction of a well-structured and argued essay. Yet her love for English extends beyond mere fundamentals of form and of language. She appreciates that literature can be a bridge between artistry and that which exists just outside of human comprehension, that a book, a poem, a phrase can speak to our minds, but also illuminate our spirits. As she wrote in her senior thesis, quote, "The meaning of life is neither discovered, awakened, or invented. Meaning is felt." Though some meaningful things do speak for themselves, such as the fact that 2 years ago, as a new student, this recipient received the department's designation of Most Improved Sophomore. Congratulations to this wonderful student and outstanding individual. This year's award for the Rager Prize for Excellence in English goes to Julia Ulrich.
On behalf of athletics, the John J. Wynant Class of 1941 Cups are awarded to 2 students in either the junior or senior class who have qualified by earning at least 2 varsity letters during the school year and who, in the judgment of a committee of the faculty, excel in scholarship and athletic ability. The first Wynant Award earner is praised by her teachers for her boundless enthusiasm, her willingness to wade into class conversations, and her unwavering work ethic. One of her coaches described her as an impassioned leader, a stellar role model, and a teammate that provides unconditional support. Another coach called her an inspiring leader on and off the track and/or trail. Whether it's anticipating the needs of her teammates and coaches or rallying the team to begin their daily warm-up, she is exceedingly communicative and compassionate. She balances her athletic and extracurricular successes with a demanding course load without complaint. A spirited leader, a courageous and talented student athlete, a beloved member of the Petty community, and notably a student body co-president this past year. Please join me in congratulating the first of 2 Wynant Award winners, Matilda Kardashian. According to his track and field coach, the second Wynant Award winner is, quote, like no other athlete he's coached in 33 years. During most meets, this student athlete competed in 4 events, the maximum number permitted. In fact, at a recent Maple meet, he had only 3 to 5 minutes between competing in the high jump, hurdles, javelin, and triple jump, and literally ran back and forth between each event for almost an hour. He never complained, just did the work. He's the Swiss Army knife of the track and field team. Similarly, this student athlete's football coach praised the 2-time captain for his remarkable versatility and team-first approach. He was the team's leading tackler on defense as well as the leading rusher on offense. Quote, his leadership, work ethic, and football IQ set the standard for excellence, while his strong academic record and role as student body vice president reflect his commitment to scholarship and character. His football coach went on to say, quote, he exemplifies the ideals of the John J. Wynant Class of 1941 Cup through his outstanding performance on the football field and his dedication off it. Please join me in congratulating our second Wynant Award winner, Eric Cho.
The Arts Department Prize is awarded by vote of the arts faculty to a senior who has made the strongest impact in multiple areas of the arts. From her vocal debut at POCO 2021 to a stunning senior recital, this student's Petty journey has been defined by growth, joy, and jaw-dropping talent. Whether belting a show tune, a rock tune, or singing opera, she defies gravity and soars in rarefied air. A master of physical comedy, She brought down the house in numerous acting roles, from her tracksuit-clad gym teacher in The Prom to Meg's swooning sister in Damn Yankees. Showcasing her musical versatility, she rocked the stage with Purple Rain and the Revisit Day Band and led our chamber orchestra to new heights as a featured vocalist. Ever the artist, she even transformed the AP Art History whiteboard into a gallery of whimsical sketches. She is serious about her craft, but never too much to recognize opportunities for having fun. Always eager to learn, laugh, and uplift those around her, she leads with humility and heart. It's been a thrill for the arts faculty to witness her evolution as an artist and collaborator. Please join me in congratulating this year's Arts Department Prize winner, the demure, unstoppable Lady Sarah Drake.
I have tasks for all of you. First, we will collectively sing the alma mater. To assist all of us, the lyrics are on the back of the program. The second task is I ask that we rise in performance. Mrs. Watkins spoke of the individual bliss, the treasure of one's life. Those of us who cannot describe ourselves as young, we know this all too well. Message to the young people, you have been a bliss to all of us. Be a bliss within your own life. Stay true to yourself. Follow your joy, dream, and risk, and love. And to collect all of our sentiments, God in heaven, keep blessed hands above these young people. Comfort them. Be a light, guiding them along their paths so that they may know immeasurable joy, the promise of their talents, and the infinite possibilities of your grace, that they may always live betwixt the beauty of the known and the unknown. Amen.